Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. Hey everyone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Now let's jump straight into today's intense story. I almost didn't recognize the man sitting across from me until I caught the hurt lingering in his eyes. That's when it hit me. I hadn't just broken his heart. I'd crushed the version of myself he once believed in. 6 years is long enough to rebuild a whole new life. Long enough to convince yourself that your worst mistakes are buried under progress, therapy, and time. Long enough to pretend you'll never have to look the person you hurt in the eye again. But time doesn't protect you. It merely waits. And mine ran out the moment I stepped into that coffee shop and saw Eric sitting at the corner table. We'd bumped into each other at the grocery store a week earlier. Our first real interaction in 6 years that didn't involve attorneys or paperwork. He'd said, "Maybe we should talk. For real this time." I said yes quicker than I should have. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I wanted absolution. Or maybe I was desperate to believe I wasn't the villain anymore. But before we get to that moment, you need to understand what I did, what brought us here. Eric and I were married for 8 years. We met in college, two ambitious, nerdy kids bonding over late-night study sessions. He proposed with a bargain bin ring and a Shakespeare line, and I cried like the world's happiest idiot. For a long time we were steady. Predictable. Safe. Then came the promotion. I was working at a marketing agency and my boss, Nolan, was the kind of man who filled a room with nothing but his presence. Confident. Charming. And looking back, dangerous. He started singling me out, extra meetings, late-night brainstorms, compliments that lingered a little too long. "Let me guide you," he once said, and the way he looked at me made something deep inside feel electrified. I didn't say no. That's the part that still burns. I didn't say no. At first, it was just emotional, drinks after work, texts that went too far, conversations that felt addictive. Eric was busy with a new job and the distance between us grew. Nolan stepped right into that gap with a smirk and a hand on my lower back. The affair dragged on for 9 months. It wasn't some passionate whirlwind. It was a drug, an escape into a version of myself that was reckless, unkind, and utterly lost. Then Eric discovered the truth. Not because I confessed. No, he deserved better than how I handled it. He found hotel receipts in my glove box. Carelessness. Arrogance. Me pretending consequences didn't exist. He didn't shout. That silence still haunts me. He just sat across the kitchen table, holding that crumpled paper like it was a death certificate. "I hope he was worth it," he said quietly before walking out. He never returned. I tried calling, texting, pleading, but the damage was done. Divorce papers arrived within weeks. No scenes. No arguments. No second chances. And Nolan? He disappeared a month later. Turns out the thrill only existed while I was off limits. Once I was single, I wasn't interesting anymore. I lost my marriage, my job, and whatever sense of dignity I had left, all in the same season. The years that followed were brutal. Therapy sessions. A new town. Starting from zero. Working retail. Eating cheap meals. Crying myself to sleep more times than I want to admit. Eventually, I started rebuilding. I became a certified life coach, an ironic twist, I know, and began helping other women navigate their own chaos. I thought I'd grown. I thought I'd changed. But healing in private is different from confronting the person you damaged. Which brings us back to that coffee shop. Eric stood when I approached. He looked older, but in a way that suited him, calm, grounded, a hint of silver in his beard. He looked whole. We sat in silence at first. I waited for him to speak. "You look good," he said carefully. "You too." He nodded, still reserved. "So, why did you want to meet?" I took a breath. "Because you deserved more than silence. And because I never apologized." He leaned back, arms crossing. "You're sorry? After 6 years?" "Yes. I've been sorry every single day." His jaw tightened. "You could have said that back then." "I didn't know how," I said, voice trembling. I was drowning in shame. I didn't even understand why I did it at the time. "And now you do?" The question cut deep. "I think so," I whispered. I wasn't happy. And instead of being honest or trying to fix things, I chased something that made me feel important. Powerful. I convinced myself I deserved more when really, I didn't know how to value what I already had. He studied me for a long moment. "You know the hardest part?" he finally said. "It wasn't the betrayal. It was spending months wondering what I did wrong. Asking myself why I wasn't enough. Tears blurred my vision. You were enough. You were the best thing in my life. And I ruined it. I hurt you and I hate that version of myself." Eric looked down at his hands. You didn't destroy me. You hurt me. Badly. But I healed. His tone softened, almost tender. I met someone 2 years ago, he said. We're getting married next spring. My chest tightened, but I smiled. I'm happy for you. Truly. He watched my face, maybe checking if I meant it. And you? Are you okay now? I'm getting there, I said quietly. I'm not who I was back then. I'm trying to be better. He nodded. Good. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a small object. A gold compass keychain. You gave me this when we moved into our first apartment, he said. I kept it for years. I finally figured out my direction. I think it's time you held on to it again. He set it on the table. My fingers shook as I picked it up. Thank you, I whispered. We both stood. No hugs. No dramatic farewell. Just two people who once loved deeply, standing on opposite sides of a closed chapter. As he walked out, a quiet understanding washed over me. I would always carry the consequences of my choices. But maybe that weight wasn't punishment. Maybe it was guidance. Maybe it already changed me. And for the first time, I truly let him go. Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers.